There you go. Bobby, you know, sometimes you know me, I
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Finns Talk today on the Finns Talk Sports Network. We appreciate you all tuning in. Smash that like and subscribe button. We got a very special show today. Of course, the one and only Fish Tank Hank in the house.
Thank you, sir.
Talk about one and only.
Yeah.
Ian Berger, what's up, my man? How you doing, brother?
Good afternoon. A Saturday afternoon podcast. I think this might be a first for me, but I think it gets a whole different audience. The guys that are up at noon on a Saturday, checking you guys out. I appreciate you inviting me to the podcast today.
Oh, we're happy the fact that you could actually fit some time in for us. We appreciate you.
Everything's going to start getting crazy after this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Next weekend, and all goes haywire. I want to say till February, at least February.
Of course, Hall of Fame. Zach Thomas is getting in there. Of course, you know, training camp, everything. It's going to be crazy, but it's going to be exciting. It's a good time to be a Dolphins fan. It's a good time to be a Miami sports fan, especially after last night. Messi doing the game-winning goal. It was an awesome experience. It's actually my first time actually getting a chance because I had to watch Univision, and I was watching that, and I was it just gets you hyped. I was producing a show at that time, and I was talking to the guys. I go, what the heck happened? Because they couldn't see me, but it was really cool. But overall, just a good time to be a Miami fan. Adam, Rob in the house of DolphinsThirsty.com. If you're thirsty for Dolphins content, go check him out. You got
what's up, everybody?
Rasim, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. Fun show. If you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, thank you. Smash that like and subscribe button. So much to talk about. Hey, we're going to talk about the regular season. We're finally going to take a look at the schedule. We're going to make some predictions. What's up, Cap?
Cap is here early. I usually see him late at night on Wednesday nights, but he's an afternoon guy too, huh? Hey, Cap.
Cap is everywhere. Cap is one of the best. He's everywhere. He tunes into every show. He participates in some shows. So he's one of everybody here is a part of the team. We just appreciate them for all tuning in. But Ian, you and I, we've on Twitter, social media at least, we've crossed paths, and I've helped Evan in the house. There you go. Good to see you, Evan.
My son.
You're on. You co-host the Dolphins Talk podcast with Mike. I was part of Dolphins Talk for a little while, so we've crossed paths here and there. But we recently connected because you got something really cool. Well, the Dolphins have something really cool going on that you are participating in that you have before. I grew up in Miami, but I've never done that, and I've been here in Nashville now. But I was like, I really would love to try to do this. I would love to do this. And I connected with you. Talk to us about that. What's going on in February for the Miami Dolphins that you are very passionate about?
Yeah, no, and you're talking about the Dolphins Challenge Cancer, and it has actually quickly become the largest fundraiser throughout the entire National Football League. And the Miami Dolphins put it on once a year. And August 1st, which is in a week and a half from now, that's when everything starts up for the Dolphins Challenge Cancer. And I'll tell you the reason why I'm involved. A couple of years ago, my mom had been diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and I heard it on the radio that you could walk the 5K. So I got involved and started raising some funds, and now I'm 3 years into it. And this year I'm doing something a little bit different. Before I was, I partnered with one of the teams, Positive Porpoise, with Danny Johnson, who does a terrific job with that group. But I went out on my own. And then this year I said, well, I want to try and involve Miami Dolphins fans who may not be able to come down to Miami in February when they do the bike ride and the walk for the event. So we started out the Worldwide Dolphins fans group, and it's a team, and there's about 45 of us right now. And basically we've got team members from various countries that have said, I'll get involved virtually. So the day of the walk, they might ride a bike, but they're going to help to raise funds, which is the ultimate goal of everything, to raise funds. All the money goes to the University of Miami Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, And, it's, again, my mom unfortunately had passed away earlier this year as the cancer finally did get to her. And one of our close friends, Gary, who is also known as the mayor, who, if you ever came to a tailgate at East 12, Gary was always there, and he was just a loving person. So he unfortunately also had experienced pancreatic cancer, which he found out about last year. So I'm walking in memory of them, but also in memory and in honor of everybody who's fighting the fight right now. And I think that, organizations like University of Miami are helping to find medication, cures for cancer to allow people to be able to live longer lives. Back in the day, you heard about people getting cancer and then there wasn't really anything that could be done. And now, because of University of Miami, various other organizations, people are able to live many years longer after a diagnosis. So that's why I do it, and I'm loving the fact that I'm getting people involved. And I know, Bobby, you're part of the team as well, and I'm thankful for that. And we've got people from California, we've got people from Germany, we've got Mexico, we've got Scotland. It's just insane. And the thing that brings us all together is we're all fighting to fight cancer, but also we're all Miami Dolphins fans throughout the world. So I find that to be the coolest thing.
That's awesome. And yeah, I could tell just from your commitment from the last couple of years, your commitment to it, how passionate you are for it. And we've all had cancer in some way touch our lives, so it's important to do that. And for anybody watching, if however you want to participate, wherever you are, check that out, but also reach out to Big E, and he'll point you in the right direction. I'm excited to be participating. I'm humbled to be participating with awesome people. So that's going to be a humbling experience, but also an awesome experience. So first off, again, yes, Gary, the mayor, passed away. Condolences to his family. I've been seeing that on Facebook and on all over social media. Hank, good to see you there. Hank camping in the house. Appreciate it. Man, all right. Hey, again, you guys are watching Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network. Smash that like and subscribe button if you're brand new to the channel. But Fish Tank, last week, we did it wasn't the record projection, but it was our season projections on the Miami Dolphins and how that season may play out. DG live in the house. Good to see you.
DG live.
Yeah, he was on Real Talk Fins Talk on Tuesday night. It was really cool to see him on there. Go check out his channel. But Mr. Big E, Ian. So yeah, last week we did our season projections. We talked about, how many games Tua may play. Last season and the year before he played 13 games. Will he play more than that? We talked about how many touchdowns and yards he may have. We had a lot of fun with that. It gets you thinking, kind of gets your blood, your sweat coming down, your blood pumping. So I said, let's have fun with Big E, and let's put him on the grill here because we did it. Let's see what you could do. And you may have talked about this on Dolphins Talk. You may have not, but let's roll with it.
Yeah,
So first off, I don't have it on there, but I want to ask you. So 13 games last year, 13 games the year before. I'll just ask you like this: over, under, Tua. How many games has he played this year?
Do you want to give me the number and I'll tell you if it's over or under, or do you think you want me to
13.
go higher than 13?
Yeah.
Oh, higher or low? I think it's over. I think, when you look at his appearance now, and I know some people are like, oh, well, he's gained some weight and, he looks, bigger. And I think that was done on purpose, right? I don't think he gained weight because all of a sudden he decided to start going for extra pizzas or the Burger King or McDonald's. I think that his trainers have built his body, to withstand a little bit more. Obviously, he's done a lot more on the jiu-jitsu side. Is that going to help? We don't know, but at least he's taking steps to address this issue, right? So I think it's going to be over 13. And I know some people are like, well, he's never really done that in the National Football League. Yeah, but now we're talking about a new season, a new group of players. He's built himself up for the offseason. I think we're going to see a different Tua, and I think he's going to be better. I think he's going to be longer lasting this season.
Well, I think that we're going to have a different offensive line too. You've seen the team in general has been seeking out whoever this is that's beefing up Tua. Everybody seems to be slimming down Jackson and beefing up. Another prime example. I just see nothing but good things coming.
More than 13 games. I have it 15. And the way I have it is 15 games, one game, maybe sitting out because of an injury, a nagging injury, who knows, at least one game. And then the other one because he doesn't need to play. He's just going to chill out till we get to the playoffs. That's my 15. That's where I'm safe. So I'm with you. Let's see here. So if it's over 13 games, how do you think his season plays out? Can you? I know it's harder not looking at it, but yards, touchdowns. How do you see it playing out with Tua this season, man?
Well, last season, and it's interesting if you look at his history over the last couple of seasons in the National Football League. His first year, 1,800 yards, 11 TDs, 5 interceptions. The following year, 2021, 2,600 yards, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And last year, obviously adding Tyreek and having Mike McDaniel, 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. So he increased his yards, he increased his touchdowns, and he decreased his interceptions based on the number of attempts that he had. I think that's only going to continue to get better. And again, too, that was based on 13 games. And I agree with you. I think a minimum of 15 games this season we'll see Tua. So, easily over 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, maybe 10 interceptions. I mean, would that be like, I don't think that would be a huge ask. I think that would be a solid season for Tua, to be honest with you, if you were able to.
I think it's fair. Yeah, I think it's absolutely fair. With 15 games, I think I was said 40. I don't remember yet, but I was over 4,000 at 29 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Fish Tank, 17 games,
4,500 yards, 43 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
I hope so, man. I mean, honestly, and again, a lot of it has to do with, is he going to be able to stay upright? And when he does get knocked down, because he's going to get knocked down, every quarterback does, right?
Absolutely.
Is he going to be able to get back up without any sort of injury, and be able to get to the next play and do what he's got to do? And that's what we're all banking on. That's what the team is banking on. That's what the Dolphins fans are banking on. And I think if that happens, we're going to have a very fun season. I think we're going to get, I'm sure we'll talk about postseason in a little while, but it's going to be a fun season.
Yeah,
absolutely. And, again, and when I go through these, if you're just like, I'm not too sure, don't worry about it. We'll skip to the next one. But, running back, if it's not Dalvin Cook, who's your starting running back?
Right now, so if it's today, we're going into training camp. I think you got Raheem Mostert is still going to be your starting running back. Depends on how healthy he is, but I think that's the go-to guy right now. If you ask me what it's going to be like in 4 to 6 weeks without a Dalvin Cook, I'd love to see a chain in there. You know, everybody's talking about this kid's speed, and everybody talks about, you know, what the potential is and how raw he is as a rookie. Usually you don't see rookies come in day one and take over a starting job, but you do tend to see them throughout the season as things progress. If an injury happens to hit one of those starting running backs, you know, Raheem or Jeff Wilson, this kid may get the chance. So I think, you know, 4 to 6 weeks down the road, if he proves it, because again, too, he's got to be able to prove that he can play in the big leagues, right, in the National Football League. I think we could see that switch at some point in the middle of the season.
So I know a lot of people are talking about A-Chain. They're excited. You know, everybody kind of, with the draft picks with Cam Smith and A-Chain at those times, the players that were available, everybody kind of went, wait, hold on. You know, but as it's progressed, and even though the season hasn't started yet, you're starting a little more and more fall in love with these guys. You're excited about Cam Smith. You're excited about A-Chain, the speed, like you said, raw potential. You know, so you would not lose sleep if the Dolphins had not signed Dalvin Cook.
No, and I've always been of the belief that they should take care of the guys that need to get re-signed. I'd rather see the money with a Christian Wilkins, right, and a Zach Sealer for future years, because I know everybody keeps talking about we're all in right now, which it does feel like we are. You know, we're spending a lot of money. You know, it feels like we have a 1 to 2 year window of the guys that we have right now to make it deep into the playoffs or to the Super Bowl. But with that said, too, you don't want to see what we're seeing with the Rams right now, where all of a sudden you get to a high point and then it drops off the cliff because you cannot afford the players that you have on your roster. Now, with that being said, too, would I take a Super Bowl win and then a drop off the cliff the following season? Any day of the week, I would take that.
I'm with you, brother. I would say that. Get me a Super Bowl win. I'll take it after. I've been dealing with it already. Let's get that win.
We've endured the 1-15 season. If we do that after a Super Bowl winning season, I will take that all day long.
Listen, I've lived through the Marlins winning 2 World Series. I've seen the Heat win 3 NBA championships. Get me 1 Dolphins championship. That's what I want. I will shed tears for that 1 Dolphins championship. And let me just say, because I know he's watching, Rob is Dolphins thirsty. Is with you 100%. Take care of your own before going to get anybody. Of course, I'm happy either way, but I'm not. I wouldn't be losing any sleep if we did not get Dalvin Cook. I would be excited, of course, because it's Dalvin Cook. We know who he is.
Right.
But I like the potential of this team, and I like our running back room. If the Dolphins commit, you know, last year they were 80-20, 80% passing on offense, 20% running. If they're 50-50 or at least 60-40, I think it's a way better chance with even Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, A-Chain. Of course, Rob, I'm going to say that. I know you, brother. I know what you were saying, what you're thinking.
I had the pleasure of meeting Rob at the Xavier Howard Softball Classic. We were in the before the game started. We were able to hang out for a little while, and it was really cool to meet him.
One of the best guys on Dolphins Twitter and Dolphins Show every day, mostly every day during the week. Dolphins Thirsty, Dolphins Chatter. One of the better dudes. Hank helps out on that as well. He co-hosts once in a while.
So, every now and then I jump over there, but only when Thirsty wants me over there.
I've noticed it decreased. After 3 shows.
Yeah,
like,
after the first episode, it really shut down. So
he's like, "I'm okay, Bobby. You can keep Hank." I was like, "All right, I'll keep him around." No, I'm just playing. So receivers, you know, it's obviously Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. We don't know who wide receiver 3 is yet. Chosen Anderson. Or Robbie Chosen, I'm not sure where the name is. Cedric Wilson, as if he stays, he gets traded. So I'm going to ask it like this for you. First off, out of these wide receivers, sir, who leads the team in catches next season?
Who leads the team in catches? That's going to be interesting because you're going to get the fight. Tyreek wants the ball, and he deserves the ball, right? Because he's such a playmaker. So even if you get him the ball 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, he can make something happen. But at the same time, you've got Waddle, and you want to make sure that he gets his catches as well. Or when defenses stack up against Tyreek, it's going to leave one-on-one coverage for Waddle, one-on-one coverage for the middle guys too. I think it's going to be very close. You know, I was thinking fantasy football season's right around the corner also, and which wide receiver do you take earlier? And I think you take Tyreek Hill earlier than you take Waddle, just because I think the potential for him to just turn a 10-yard catch into a 60-yard touchdown is just so much greater because of a little smaller, but he just has an amazing speed, amazing cutback abilities. But I'll tell you the third guy, and I think Braxton Berrios is going to come in and be kind of that slot guy. And isn't it perfect that Wes Welker is the person who's coaching the wide receiver room right now? Because Wes, you know, especially when he went over to the Patriots, which I still can't believe we let him go do that. You know, he became one of the league's best slot receivers, right, in the National Football League. So I think we can get that from a Braxton Berrios. Originally, when and it's interesting because I think he goes by Chosen Anderson, but if you look at the Miami Dolphins depth chart, they call him Robbie Chosen. So maybe he needs to clarify with everyone how he wants to be referred, because out of respect, we want to make sure that we address him the correct way. But we'll just stay with Chosen because I think that goes with him. I originally thought that he was just going to be a camp body. I didn't know if he was going to stick around, but the way that it's making it sound, he may be number 4. You know, again, he's one of the fastest wide receivers on our team right now. And I think if you put that along with his skills, and if he's able to keep some of the off the field stuff away from the team, I think he could just be another weapon for it. But I just don't see him being a reception guy. I see him being that running down the field, getting open, making some contested catches, and Tua throwing the ball down to him. But I mean, you're talking about that as being a third or fourth option, or even a fifth option. That's pretty scary for other teams, I would think.
Absolutely. And you know, for yards, we had receptions. We had Waddle. I think me and Hank agreed on that. Yards, we had Tyreek. I know he wants to go after 2,000. We'll see. But touchdowns, that's where it got different. That's where it kind of, Hank surprised some people. Well, he surprised everybody last week. Hank, who do you remember who you had leading the team in touchdowns?
I have Connor Williams.
Tanner Connor.
Tanner Connor, I mean.
There you go.
Tanner Connor.
The tight end, yes.
Tanner Connor. Sometimes, you get all these Connors in there.
I thought you were trying to go for another double one, another
we
shot.
Got Connors, we got a lot of
Jalen's.
We got Jalen's, we got Connors. There's a lot of those.
It's true. It's true. Tanner Connor. I remember, everybody.
Yeah.
Goes, whoa!
I said he's going to get 15 touchdowns this year.
Hey, you never know. I thought it was Gesicki last year, so I wasn't too far with you because I thought Gesicki would or the Dolphins or whatever you want to call it, would take advantage of Tyreek and Jalen being there. That would open up the red zone, and he would lead the league in touchdowns.
There's a couple things that I see that people aren't looking at. Okay,
go for it. Tell us.
The first thing is this defense is going to be lights out. We're going to get the ball back a lot, folks, a lot, and somebody's got to get that ball. Somebody's got to get it. That's why Tyreek's going to hit the 2,000. That's why Waddle will have the most receptions. Waddle will probably have the most yards. Connor will be in the red zone. I see us in the red zone a lot, and that's why I see him being used a lot, because you got to remember our receivers are shorter receivers, except for Chosen. Okay, so you put them down there. Who's going to benefit? In my opinion, the tight end. I think our main tight end this year will be Tanner Connor.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Tanner Connor has kind of. I wouldn't want to say disappoint, but he really hasn't shown much yet to this point. I think that's fair to say.
That's very fair to say.
I think Gesicki. He was more of kind of a wide receiver tight end hybrid. And he was really, I think there was some talk even last season about them transitioning him to a full-time tight end. I mean, wide receiver, and in Mike McDaniel's scheme, Durham Smythe, he's had some success, and he was re-signed, right? You got Eric Salbert, and then you got Tanner, Elijah Higgins, and Tyler Croft as well. Tyler Croft, who had some really solid seasons in his career. So we have a strong tight end room. We don't have a big name like some of these other teams have. But I think that's also because, like we saw last season, the tight end position is not high up there on the list of things to do. I think your tight end for the Miami Dolphins is really going to be there to mainly protect Tua, and then you get those short passes. And it might be that Tanner Conner gets those, those goal line looks because you're down there. Everybody's going to think they're looking for Tyreek or they're looking for Waddle, and then you got Connor who pushes off of Tanner Connor pushes off on the defender, and then he gets himself wide open in the end zone. So there's going to be a lot of targets for Tua in the end zone, and it could be him. I don't see the tight ends being a huge effect on this overall offense, just because we didn't see it last year, or they would have kept Gesicki, I think, if that was the case. But we'll see.
For me, and I'm glad you brought up Croft because not Hank's numbers, but I think Croft could be the most productive tight end. As a receiver, I think Smythe might get the start because as a blocking tight end, it offers more. But I think Croft has the opportunity because, like you said, he's had solid seasons in the past as a weapon, quote unquote. I think that's what he could be into this spot. I think he could work his way up to there. So let's move the defense very quick, and we'll just talk sacks and interceptions here. We'll make it quick for you because Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Agba. Who's leading this team in sacks next year, Biggie?
It's got to be Jalen Phillips. I mean, the man, he's a beast. I don't know if you've seen some pictures of him in the offseason.
I have.
And I'll tell you, too, every national media outlet, when they talk about who's going to be the biggest contributor on defense and who's going to have the biggest impact this season, they're talking about Jalen Phillips. And he continues to kind of work his way up there, and he's taking care of himself extremely well. But I think he's gonna be over 10, possibly 12 sacks for the season.
I think you're absolutely. Hank and I both agreed with you on that one. I think I had it at 12.5 last week when we were talking about it. I think all around as a defense, he might be the best defensive player for us next season. I'm expecting a very good year from him.
I think I said 17 for him.
Yeah, it's MVP all the way around for every player.
Yeah, that's great.
We have a lot of Pro Bowlers on this team.
Yes.
I will tell you something that kind of made me stop was listening to Colin Cowherd, who has always been known to be a Dolphins hater.
It's true.
And he's talking about how the Dolphins are the team to beat in the AFC East, but then he also talked. I mean, it sounds weird to say this, but he said Bradley Chubb is probably your 7th or 8th best player on this team right now. And,
that's crazy.
Right? When you hear it, right? You
That's
got to be like, that's unbelievable because there's just such great talent on this roster right now. It is it's great to be back here, and it's been a long time since we've been here.
That's a great point. And I know I'm sidetracking a little bit because I was producing one of our shows last night, and that was the FUBAR Sports Show with Stager and Legacy. And they were doing it where it was teams that will fall off next year. They had a guest on, and he picked the Dolphins. And the main thing was, I think all three of them were saying the Dolphins have a chance to fall off. And I'm somebody I always try to be balanced. Fish tank knows that annoys the hell out of him. He goes really high and I stay right here or go a little low. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? But I just thought it was
this
crazy.
year you're going to be wrong.
I'm saying,
look,
okay. Well,
I'm telling you now, this year you got, I might not be right about Connor. I might have picked the wrong, I might have picked the wrong tight end, Bobby. But this team is about to explode. That last year they didn't have a solid game between offense, defense, and special teams. That was last year. Now we got even better and improved. This team is going to be unbelievable this year. I can't wait to watch the defense annihilate people, take the ball away. I can't wait for the offense to get the ball over and over again and score and score and score.
No, that's where I'm saying. That's where I'm going. I don't. First of all, if you would have let me finish, I was saying.
Yeah, but I wanted to cut you off. That was the whole part of it.
I know, just like you do in traffic with that Corvette, you cut me off. So, but no, I was saying, like, we know what the flaws are of this football team. Right?
Yes.
We know, okay, offensive line is a question mark.
Yes.
Linebackers. But
yes.
to me, this team has too much, and maybe depth, but this team has too much talent not to be in the playoffs next year. It's so easy to say the Jets. I get it. Before even Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback situation was a joke, but they had a young, talented team. You know, you got the receiving core, whatever, Sauce Gardner in the secondary, their defense. But I think because they've added Aaron Rodgers, it puts them at deeper risk to implode. You know, they are 2-3 losses in a season with the New York media, with the way it is, for Aaron Rodgers to blow the whole thing up. Saleh gets fired, general manager gets fired, he gets his general manager, Nathaniel Hackett becomes the head coach, and then they go nowhere. I'm not worried about the Jets. You know, I'm not sleeping on Buffalo. I know a lot of people say Buffalo's going to take a huge step back and we're going to become – Buffalo's the team I'm still like, hey, it's Buffalo. Let's just chill it out. But the Dolphins, you could always say, oh, offensive line. I'm looking at Austin Jackson this year, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to pretend that he's automatically going to be this great thing, but I'm seeing the work he's putting in, and I'm excited to see what he can do at right tackle. Still worried about left guard, but as long as Armstead is healthy, I think the Dolphins have a very good chance to do very well this year. It depends on health, but that goes for every team.
I think Wynn's going to plug that spot you're concerned about.
I have it Dan Feeney. Left guard.
No, I think Wynn. I think Wynn's going to come alive. He's a first rounder. He was a first rounder too. He's got to be better at guard than he was at tackle.
That's what I thought about Eichenberg. Let's see how it turned out. Oh, my bad. But
hey, I didn't think that about Eichenberg.
And I will tell you that before the season started, Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel had their preseason press conference where they're talking about where all the questions are coming out. You really haven't done much for the offensive line, which, to be honest with you, they haven't. Pretty much it's stayed status quo from last season. Picked up a couple of backups. You talked about Wynn. You talked about Dan Feeney. And that continues to be a concern, I think, for a lot of fans until we can see that it's changed. But Chris Greer, he made the comment, he said, you guys, meaning the media, are more concerned about this than we are.
Yeah.
So maybe they see something. Maybe they know something that we don't know. Here's the other question, and no one is talking about it yet. My brain, Teron Armstead, there it is, came to me. Teron Armstead's toe. That was really bothering him towards the end of last season. There has been no conversation on, has that gotten better? Is he going to be able to last more than 15 games? Because remember, too, as soon as he went out of games, the total dynamic of that offensive line changed. So I am hoping that he is fully healed and did what he had to get done in the off season, so that when the season starts, he's good to go. But that I put a big circle around that offensive line because we've got to see them do well, and we've got to see them perform in order for Tua to stay healthy, right? Because that's the key.
So, Ian, finally with our defense, we said Jalen Phillips for sacks. We got Jalen Ramsey now. Xavier Howard is still there. Cam Smith, Trill Williams. List goes on. Javon Holland. Who's leading this team in interceptions next year, brother?
It's a great question. So, Byron Jones, a lot of people don't like to talk about Byron Jones because the way that things kind of ended, he got injured. He missed the entire season, even though we thought he was going to come back right at all. But I think having Byron Jones allowed Xavier Howard to get all the interceptions that one season that he had. 8 to 10 interceptions, because quarterbacks didn't throw Byron Jones's way. They really focused more on Xavier Howard's way, and he had more opportunities for interceptions. And I think if Xavier is healthy, and you've got Ramsey there, who is basically blanketing the wide receivers, I think Xavier could end up leading this team again in interceptions. Again, the other thing too is he's very honest in this offseason. He said, "I played last season hurt." Remember when he was selected to be in the Pro Bowl? He said, "I should not have been selected to the Pro Bowl." He's like, "I'm not playing to the standards that I believe I should be playing at." But we know that's kind of a popular contest. So there's that. But I think Xavier can lead us again, and was he 8 or 10 interceptions away from being the all-time Miami Dolphins interception leader. And I think he can do it. I think he can do it this year.
I didn't realize that. Wow. Really?
Yep.
Oh my good. Well, I know. Well, last week I said it was Xavier Howard. I think he had like 9 or 10 interceptions or something. So I think he gets it this year. Then there you go. Becomes the leader in interceptions. So we know about running backs. We talked about you believe A-Chain could be RB1, maybe into the 4th or 6th week into the season. But we are waiting on the Dalvin Cook situation. Just like if you're a Heat fan, you're waiting on Lillard, and kind of drags on. But there's other players out there, potential running backs who are good, that might be available. Saquon Barkley is, he's having a fit right now with the Giants. Josh Jacobs may want to be traded. You got, of course, Fournette, Elliott, Hunt in free agency. Ian, if not Dalvin Cook, we know we're comfortable with our running back room. But is there any running back that I mentioned, or maybe I didn't mention, that you would go, hey, even though I'm comfortable with our running back room, Dolphins should definitely take a look at this guy?
Honestly, no. I don't. You think to what extent can they upgrade in the running back room? And I don't see Saquon Barkley leaving. I don't see Josh Jacobs leaving his team, because if I had my choice, I'd say let's pick up Josh Jacobs, right? But that's going to take multiple first-round picks. It's going to take a lot of money. It's just resources that we don't have right now. So if we don't end up signing Dalvin Cook, I think we stay pat with the running back room that we have. See what we've got in the chain. See if Mostert can, be that super fast running back that we've seen. Jeff Wilson too. I don't think we've seen the best of him yet, even though we've seen glimpses of him doing extremely well. And then too, you still got Salvin Ahmed, right? You still got these other guys that have been around. They haven't been the best, but they've been above average, I'd want to say, when they've had the opportunity. So I wouldn't go crazy on the running back side. Do I think Dalvin Cook would help our team? I think he would. People are like, he doesn't have the legs anymore. No. The man had a solid season last season. Plus, he's a great catcher out of the backfield. So if we can add him, let's do it. If not, let's go with what we got and see what we have in a change. He's one of the highest drafted rookie running backs that we've had in a while. I think the last time we went that high was Kalen Ballage, which, he had a great game in Minnesota. Actually, he had a great run. He had a great run in the Minnesota Vikings game right out of halftime. But outside of that, it was challenging for him. But I'd be interested. To see what we got with him.
I think that's fair. I think it's great. I think you're right. Why, what you got in these guys. I think, again, if you just commit to that 60-40 split pass and run, I think Miami has a good chance to improve their offense without adding a back. Now, again, I'm not against adding Dalvin Cook. I've been saying Dalvin Cook, and before any names were, it was Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry. Before Derrick Henry decided, or they said he was to stay in Tennessee, I was like, go get those guys. But if you don't, I'm not losing sleep. I'm happy with our room. I'm okay with it. I think Miami could do a lot. And so when we're looking at the schedule right now, guys, we're going to the main event here. As we're looking at the schedule, it's without Dalvin Cook. So let's keep it that way there. Okay. And we'll go game by game here. And we'll start with Fish Tank, and then Ian and myself game by game. And we'll finish up and see how we did and what we think Miami's season might look like. And I know, Ian, you've done this before. You've thrown out records before. So, we'll roll. And,
I try and stay consistent, but people are going to catch me if I said. Well,
but it happens. I think it's unfair for someone to say, "Oh, but you said so and so," because the more you look at it, you see a team maybe makes a trade, or then you think about it and go, "Well, no, you know what?
Changes happen. People get hurt.
We'll see." So let's get the schedule up here, and it's gonna be, man. I know it's the second toughest schedule in the NFL. Based on the strength of the schedule, but I'm excited for this year. This looks like a fun schedule for the Dolphins. And of course it starts off with the Chargers week 1, at LA. Justin Herbert, Tua, they're going to be combined by the hip for years on end, because they were one after the other. There's Dolphin fans that are like, we should have drafted Herbert, we got Tua, blah blah blah, but it is what it is. This is going to be such a fun game. So Hankster, I'm going to start with you, Fish Tank.
Yes,
And
sir.
then Biggie will follow up, sir.
Yep.
But Hank, is this a win, lose, or, I doubt it, a tie?
I think we're going to go over there early, and we're going to win that game. We're going to go over early, acclimate, get ready for the time change, whatever the issue normally is. And thank God we're going over there early in the year. I love it.
There you go. So you got us winning.
I got to win for sure.
There you go. Big E?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I'm seeing in the chat too where they're talking about this is a Tua revenge game.
Yep.
I think I keep going back to the improvement on our defense. The last season we were ranked 18th in the National Football League. This season I anticipate that this defense is going to be in the top 10, possibly top 5. And I think not having to worry about, sorry for the dogs, they're super excited about what I just said.
Oh, I thought that was my wife. I was about to say, hey, just. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm having fun. I'm having fun.
Throwing stones in a glass house. Oh my goodness.
Let me just make sure the camera's on in case you see something happen. It's live. It's recorded.
Something about don't do that in your own backyard. Speaking of dogs.
Right.
But sorry to interrupt you, sir. Go ahead.
No. I think this. I don't know when was the last time that we opened up a season on the road to the West Coast instead of doing that in the middle of the season, trying to figure out the time change. Like Hank said, I think we're going to be ready mentally. I think we're going to be ready physically. And I think it's going to be a dub.
I'm with you guys both. I think it's a win. I think it is a revenge game. Just like to his health, I think there's a chip on his shoulder. He wants to show that he could get a win on them. Of course, they lost last year. This is for just McDaniel too. He lost that game too. A lot of people, you say, oh, it's a loss for Tua. Well, we question McDaniel's play calling in that game. So I think this is a game where they show, hey, we're going to be a different team. It's not just going to be about the pass. It's going to be about the run. And I say it's a Miami W. So we'll go to week 2, and that is at New England, Sunday night football.
Right
it's going to be a night game.
Yep.
It's going to be a night game. All right, Bobby. So, being we're still used to that time change being over with the Chargers, that night game, Miami's going to be used to that flying back too. So, they'll be acclimated already for the night game. It'll be a good time to go up there. It's not like we're going up there in the winter. So, I like it. I like it happening with a win. I see Miami taking a win up there pretty easily.
I actually have to agree as well. And the thing with the Patriots is I don't think they're going to be very good. I know some people are like, well, some things have changed. They're getting so-and-so back as an offensive coordinator instead of Matt Patricia. Bill Belichick is not the same coach without Tom Brady.
Nope.
That's been very evident. And I think we're going to – and I know the Patriots are wearing their throwback red jerseys, I believe is what I saw. But it doesn't matter. I think we're going to jump up there, and we're going to go 2-0 to start off with the season.
I agree with both of you guys again. Again, you don't sleep on the Patriots, but I can't see Miami losing this game. I don't think New England's a better team than Miami. I agree. Belichick is not the same coach without Tom Brady. That's why I don't ever want to hear anybody say that Belichick is better than Don Shula. There's no chance in hell that's true. So I am rolling with the Dolphins here to start 2-0 on the season. So we go to week 3 against the Sean Payton Denver Broncos. And Ian, I'll start with you, and then Fish Tank, you can follow up, sir. Ian, it's Russell Wilson. It's Sean Payton. Russell Wilson had a bad year last year or struggled with the Broncos. Do they turn it around? Do they get a win here in week 3?
The only thing that concerns me with the Broncos is really more their defense than their offense. I do not think that Russell Wilson is the same Russell Wilson that won the Super Bowl. It feels like almost 10 years ago. You said Russell Wilson had a bad year last year in Denver. He had a bad year the prior year in Seattle, which is why they were even considering trading him away. I know they have a new coach, and I know he's a Hall of Fame coach, I want to say, right? Or at least up there. I still don't think Denver is going to be all that good this season. So I I got Dolphins going 3-0 after week 3, man. And I know some people are going to say, well, you're a homer, but I'm thinking Denver's just not going to be that good. And it's going to be the Miami Dolphins home opener, and everybody's going to be hyped for that. So there's that part as well. And let's be honest, it gets a little hot in Miami during that time of year. Just ask any Buffalo Bills fan or Buffalo Bills player. So advantage Dolphins in that one.
There you go. Fish tank.
I hear there's a group getting together also, Ian. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but there's a lot of people talking about that Friday, Saturday, possibly getting together before our first game. So I don't know what's in the mix yet. I heard a couple people might reach out to you and discuss it with you, being you're one of the all-time greats. So and you got the pull. So, but no, I think the Denver Broncos are in for a world of hurt, like Ian said. I mean, you're going to come in here with the heat. They're going to complain about it, but they're going to get beat. They're used to Mile High where it's all nice and cool and everything's good to go. I just see Miami, they're going to be on a roll. And like Ian says, you call me a homer if you want. That's all right. I might be a homer, but I think they're going to win.
3-0. I'm with you. I ain't worried about the Broncos. I ain't worried about Sean Payton, Russell Wilson. I started 3-0. I knew, you can't call me a homer. You know that. I mean, I'm a homer, but I'm not that type of homer. But I'm saying 3-0.
Yeah, we're going to find out on this next one.
I know. Now it gets interesting.
You're up first, Bobby.
Let's let him go first this time. I like that. Let's let Bobby go first this time.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bobby.
You guys suck. Just kidding. At Buffalo.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a loss. This is a loss. I think this is our first loss. This is in Buffalo. I know a lot of people believe Buffalo's going to take this big step back next year, and they might, but I don't think that early. I think this is Miami's first loss. This is their kind of first hiccup of the season. They want to prove that they could take their quote unquote big brother, for whatever you want to call it. I think they get knocked down a peg in the first, so they start the season 3-1. I think Josh Allen and company get the W, and I think Miami gets their first taste of a loss. Hank.
Yes, you want my opinion?
Yes.
Well, my opinion isn't so much that the Buffalo Bills are going to decline as much as Miami has plenty of tape on them and what their team is going to be doing. So I like that, and the fact that Miami's defense is that much better than the Buffalo Bills defense, in my opinion, especially our secondary. So I have us as a win.
In
Bobby.
Buffalo.
In Buffalo, absolutely a win.
Ian.
Tiebreaker.
So at this point, if my prediction is right, then we are going into Buffalo 3-0, right? We just finished wrapping up the first win of at home, and now we're heading up to Buffalo. And I am of the belief that I think we may have seen the best of the Buffalo Bills. When you look at how they ended the season last year, they were on an emotional roller coaster. But you would think that after everything that happened with DeMar, that they would be playing at their highest level, to try and play for him, right? And because when you have somebody that goes down here like we're gonna beat this team for you, and everybody's got the numbers on their jerseys and stuff like that, but they almost lost to the Miami Dolphins in Buffalo with the third string quarterback starting that game, and then they go and they put up a stinker the following week, right? And they get knocked out of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And then you hear all this, I don't want to say discomfort or upsetness from Stephon Diggs. And I think that is carrying over into this season. And I really think that this may be the year that they stumble, because I think you've got some stuff. And that people, it's interesting to hear this, but the head coach, who's the head coach of the Bills? It's off the top of my head. I can't think of it. I'm going to have to Google it. Head coach of Bills. Sean
Dave
McDermott.
D-
Sean McDermott.
Dermott.
Could you imagine him being on the hot seat for the Buffalo Bills? Because he's getting them to the playoffs, but he's not getting them to the Super Bowl with, what's supposedly a very, very strong roster. So you've got all these things, and I think the pressure is significant on the Buffalo Bills and not on the Dolphins. I say all that to say the Dolphins are going to win, by the way. You're wondering where I was going. I know I went long-winded. I apologize.
No, you're good.
But I feel Dolphins will go up to Buffalo. I know we haven't won Buffalo in many years. But in order to be the best, you have to beat the best. And if that, in their eyes, the Buffalo has been the best over the last couple seasons in the AFC East. I think the Dolphins have an opportunity. Again, we're riding sky high right now. 3-0, jumping into Buffalo. That's going to be the biggest game of the week, I imagine. And the Dolphins are going to make a statement.
Yep.
So there you go. First 4 weeks of the season, I have them going 3-1. Hank 4-0. Big E 4-0.
I have with my realistic self going 4-0, Bobby.
Don't bring up the word realistic. You don't like it.
That's right. I'm realistic. I'm being realistic, Bobby. Because
okay,
I have
Homer Simpson.
4-0.
Okay, Homer Simpson.
You're always the guy that's Mr. Negative and always taking on the negative side. Oh, yeah, the Dolphins are going to lose. Oh, the Bills are just too good for the Dolphins. Oh, come on.
Listen, Big E just said it here. If you to be the best, you got to beat the best, or to be a man, you got to beat the man. I think that's true when it comes to Miami Buffalo, but I'm waiting till the final week of the season. I think Miami does it the final week of the season when it counts. But that's just me. Anyway, the Giants, I have it as a win. So 4-1, Fish Tank.
Yes.
Say 5-0 and let's move forward.
Say 5-0 and let's move forward. Where's the game at?
It's in Miami.
It's in Miami. Well, that's a win.
There you go, 5-0.
That's a win.
Big E.
I think I don't know if they can continue their winning ways. I don't have a lot of faith in Daniel Jones and what's going on with Saquon Barkley right now. So I think the Dolphins win this one as well.
So there you go. So the Giants versus the Dolphins in Miami. It's a win for Miami for all of us. Then you stay in Miami and you're facing the Bryce Young Carolina Panthers. Ian, any upsets happening in Miami against Carolina?
I think on my last prediction podcast, I said that there's always a slip up of a game where you think that the Dolphins should absolutely win and then they don't. How many times have we seen that as Dolphins fans, right? But I'm going to stick with no. I don't think this is going to be an upset. This is going to be fan club weekend. Miami Dolphins fans from all over the country, all over the world, are going to be coming in for that game. And I think we go 6-0.
There you go. Oh, that would be awesome.
Is it 6-0
Hank?
or are we at 7?
No, 6-0 right now.
Yeah.
6-0. 6-0. I mean, come on. You got a rookie quarterback coming in. I mean,
yeah, I can't see it.
The team hasn't been doing all that much lately, but they have put in more pieces. I'm not going to lie. Like Ian was saying, any given Sunday, any team could win, but I still think Miami has too much of an edge.
Yeah, it would be a huge upset and a huge deflating loss for the Dolphins if they fell to Carolina.
At that point in time, yeah, it would be.
So, yeah, I have it as a win as well. Now, this is a big game coming up. This is the game where I think you guys, I don't know, I might be wrong, you might surprise me. The Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia, Sunday Night Football. Hank, lead us off, my man. How do you think it plays out?
Yeah, I think this is going to be Miami's Achilles heel right here, is Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I just think that their defense is just as strong as our defense. Not maybe their secondary, but their front line improves that secondary. And I don't think that Miami's going to keep up on points. That's what I'm concerned with, is on points. I think Miami is going to get hurt in this game, and they're going to lose it.
There you go. Ian?
Now, what homer says their team's going to lose?
This is a Sunday night
Bobby.
game, or Monday night. Is it Monday night game?
You're being realistic now.
Yeah.
This is Sunday Night Football.
This is Sunday Night Football.
Yes, sir.
And I think this is going to be too hard for the Dolphins to overcome the Eagles, right off of their Super Bowl appearance. So I think the Dolphins take the loss on this one as well. I think we all agree on this one.
I think we all do. So it's gonna be a very entertaining football game. A very entertaining football game, but I do have Philadelphia winning that one. Then we go back to Miami. It's against the Patriots. I see Miami sweeping the Patriots this year. I don't sleep on the Patriots, but I can't see Miami losing to the Patriots. It's two different teams on paper. Something has to be drastically wrong if Miami loses. Do we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Then Miami travels all the way to Germany to play against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
Now Miami, this is what I'll say. If they would have been in Miami, I think, for this game anyway. But playing against Kansas City in Germany, even playing field, it's going to be an exciting game. It's going to be a fun game. Could be an upset. Miami over Kansas City, but can't go against Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. I'm going to go with Kansas City on this game, Fish Tank. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I'll tell you why you're wrong. First of all, our offense is more dynamic than the Andy Reid offense. I think we're going to have some answers on defense for them. Our defense is better than their defense by a long shot, in my opinion, especially the secondary. And Miami's going to come out of that game with the big W.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, this was actually going to be a home game for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the fact that they moved this game to Germany, it really makes it more of a level playing field, because it's not going to be the home field advantage that Kansas City is normally used to.
No chop coming out.
Right, and both the teams have to travel, a long way in order to get to Germany. So I think the Dolphins are going to take this one, because I think taking it outside of Kansas City, having to deal with all the traveling, which I know the Dolphins have to do as well, I think that bodes well for the Miami Dolphins.
The Dolphins have gone over there a heck of a lot more than a lot of teams in the NFL. So they're used to going over there too. So
there you go. And then after that, the Dolphins go into a bye. And if it's your guys' way, Dolphins go into the bye 8-1 on the season. And probably number one in the AFC East, maybe 1 or 2 in the AFC. So that would be an awesome way to start it out.
And you have them at what?
6-2.
6-2. Okay.
Mr. Negative.
Now did that stick in there somewhere, Bobby? Did that stick in there? No.
More than me being more realistic than you, but yeah, sure. Las Vegas, November 19th in Miami. Ian, does Miami continue their winning ways?
So you know how I was saying that there are sometimes these games where they should win and they don't? I think the Dolphins are going to come back after winning in Germany, having that flight, having that week off. I think they're going to come back a little rusty. And I see a loss to the Raiders, even though we should not lose to the Raiders. Their team, I don't think, is going to be very good this year. Garoppolo, there's so many question marks with Garoppolo. McDaniels as the head coach, he's not very good.
No, he's not.
But again, too, I see this as being that slip-up game.
That's a good point. With the Germany trip and everything else, it could happen. That makes a great point. Fish Tank?
I got to win. I just – Miami at home, first of all. I always like Miami at home over most teams. They better be really good if Miami's going to lose to them at home, in my opinion, especially with the way we're stacked nowadays. Wow, I just can't even believe the talent we have. It's a win. It's a win for the Miami Dolphins, no doubt.
All right. I have it as a win as well. But I agree. I think the Germany trip could, I think the bye week may help, and I do think talent comes into play. I'd be shocked. I'm not a hater against Jimmy G. I think Jimmy G is a good quarterback, good game managing quarterback. Devontae Adams, sure, but it's Josh McDaniels, where it's kind of like, yuck, So, but I have Miami over Vegas here. Now it gets interesting. Okay, now games are, even though every game matters, these games really start to matter as we come up here. It's November 24th at the Jets in New York. Aaron Rodgers, Tua.
Black Friday.
Black Friday. That's true. Yep. Oh my goodness. So Fish Tank, how's it playing out, man?
This is going to be a tough game. This is probably going to be Miami's, believe it or not, even though we're playing the Eagles and Kansas City, I think this is going to be one of Miami's tougher games, and it'll be close. This is a coin tosser for me, and being I'm a Dolphins fan, I have to go with the Miami Dolphins. But these two teams, I think, are both very well balanced against one another. And I just see this being one hell of a battle. But I see Miami coming out with the win.
All right. For me, well, go ahead, Ian. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I've got the Dolphins and Jets splitting between the two games that they're playing. So either to give them the win here, give them the loss here, and then 3 or 4 weeks later, just give the alternative. And the thing is, you're right, Hank. They're very close. They have a lot of young, raw talent. I think their defense is up and coming. But I think there's a lot of questions on the offense. I don't trust their wide receivers. I don't think they have the weapons at wide receiver as someone like the Bills or even like the Dolphins right now. So yes, they have Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron's got to be able to get on the same page as these wide receivers. So I just don't know if they've got it there. So that's why I think there's a split. Either we win in New York or we win in Miami. But I think we'll just say Dolphins get a loss here. Let's go see that.
I'm with you. I think Miami splits the series with New York, and I will say this one's the loss. Black Friday. I think Miami drops this one because it's in New York. I think the home field advantage, the Jets, Aaron Rodgers. I think this one's a loss for Miami. We move to December 3rd against the Washington Commanders. For now, it's the Commanders. We'll see what they are next season. Goodness gracious. Ian, win, lose, or draw, my friend?
This is a win. I think Washington is kind of recreating themselves, not just their name, but the product on the field. Last season they were 8-8-1, and I don't even think they belong at 8-8-1. I think they probably should have deserved a worse record. And there's nothing on that team that kind of yells out at you and says, we're going to beat you here. They've got some strong players on defense, but besides that, I think the Dolphins are going to take that one.
There you go. Disagree,
That's a
Fish
win,
Tank?
Bobby. That's
There
a
you
win,
go.
Bobby.
There you go. I'm with you guys. It's a win. Then you go to Monday Night Football, Tennessee Titans in Miami. That's going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun game. DeAndre
Not
Hopkins.
fun the next day going to work, but it's going to be a fun night.
That's right. That's right. You got Derrick Henry, Tannehill, DeAndre Hopkins against the Miami Dolphins. Ian, how do you see that playing out?
I think it's a win for Miami too. I see Tennessee on a downward trajectory. The whole thing with the question marks at quarterback.
Yeah.
Tannehill, I was telling my wife the other day, Tannehill, he just never could get to the championship game. And I think, honestly, by this point of the year, they may make a switch at quarterback at Tennessee. So I think the Dolphins win that one at home on Monday night in front of everybody.
I think you're right about the quarterback switch. I think they're going to switch also at some point midway about they'll switch out. And when they do switch out, it's going to come with a learning curve. So I see Miami winning this one.
Yeah, especially if it's Will Levis, or it's going to be Will Levis. I don't think Malik Willis. I'm here in Nashville. That's right, from Florida to Nashville, so I hear everything's going on. But I can't see Malik Willis being the starter. But if it is Will Levis, I think it is a learning curve, and I think Miami could pull that out and win that game. Unless Derrick Henry totally blows it up, and has one of those monster games, it's Miami. Now we got the Jets in Miami. Like I said, they split it, so I have it as a win. Miami gets the revenge. They get a win here. Fish Tank, do they sweep the
home
series?
Game, win.
All right.
So because
that's right. That's right.
Yep.
That's correct. So now we go against it's Christmas Eve. Dallas Cowboys in Miami.
Most in-demand game for the Miami Dolphins this season. It's that Dallas Cowboys game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of people want to go to that one.
Yep.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I have it as a loss, though. So, Fish Tank?
No, let Ian go.
Oh, go ahead, Ian.
I agree. I think that the Dallas Cowboys can go a couple of different directions. Tony Pollard now is upset about his contract, and who knows what's going to, and I think they're talking about bringing Zeke back. on a smaller deal. So their running back core, who used to really be afraid of in the past, there's question marks now back there. And Dak never seems to be able to get over that hump for whatever the reason is. But I still have the Dolphins losing to Dallas in this one. Just a gut feeling. I think Dallas is a strong team. Dolphins are doing really well. They're riding high, but now all of a sudden they're saying, "Hey, we're gonna take that loss." And it's December. For some reason, December's never treat the Dolphins well.
All right, Fish Tank.
That's a win. That's a win. It's going to be too humid for the Cowboys. They're used to that dry heat.
There you go. All right. There you go. Week 17. The Baltimore Ravens.
I'll take that one. That's going to be a loss.
Okay.
That will be a loss at the Ravens. I don't think that Miami will have enough. Like Ian said, that's when Miami slips up, is in December. So I see them losing that one.
Here you go. Big E?
I think the Dolphins beat Baltimore again for the second year in a row. I think late in the season, I hope Lamar is healthy enough to be able to go the full season. But I think the Dolphins, they want to get that win. They want to punch their way into the playoffs. I think a win there will probably get them there. So I'm going with the win for the Dolphins.
I'm going to go with a loss here. They did win last year. Of course, Baltimore pulled all the way out. Then Baltimore said, okay, we're good. We could take our foot off the gas. Miami took advantage and won that football game. I think Baltimore seeks this as a revenge game. They take this one. It's a loss for Miami. Now we finish the season against the Buffalo Bills. Okay, maybe the AFC East is on the line at this point. So, like I said, I had them losing at the top of the season. I'm going to have them winning this game. This is when it matters. They beat the Buffalo Bills in Miami. They finished the season 11-6 going into the playoffs. Ian, what do you think?
Well, I don't think they're going to sweep the Bills. I did, predict that they were going to beat the Bills early on in Buffalo. And I think this is going to be a game that Buffalo needs. Who knows if the Dolphins are going to need it. At this point, they're going to be 12-4 for the Dolphins. So, do the Dolphins really need to play their starters at this point? Maybe this is that one game where they're like, all right, we don't need to start for whatever the reason is. But I see the Bills winning that last game to get themselves at least a playoff spot. Who knows if it's for the AFC East? Gosh, wouldn't that be great if we're playing the last game for the AFC East? That would, especially in Miami. That's going to probably be the prime time game if that's the case. It's going to be the last game of the week. And it's going to be fun. But I think the Bills will win that one. Dolphins will end the season 12-5.
Fish Tank?
Well, the Buffalo Bills can't play in the sun, so.
But if it's a night game, that's the problem.
That's true. If it's prime time,
yep,
it's true.
They can't play in the sun, and we start in the sun, so. No.
But if
let me stop. This is going to be a good game.
It's going to be great. Yeah, no doubt.
This is going to be a great game to end the season with for the Buffalo Bills and send them packing home. I love it. Miami's going to win. And what's my unrealistic numbers now, Bobby?
14-3. Did I get yours right? 14-3.
Did I get? Yeah.
14. It's only 2 losses, wasn't it?
Yeah. 2 losses.
Yeah, it was Philadelphia.
15-2.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez, man, I hope so.
I hope so.
We'll be celebrating. We'll be taking that last Sunday off. It's not going to matter at all.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So there you go, guys. Everyone tuning again. Finch Talk today on the Finch Talk Sports Network. Big E, 12-5 for the Miami Dolphins. Fish Tank, 15-2. Myself, 11-6. Last year I had them going 10-7. They went 9-8. But hey, hopefully if it's 11-6, maybe it's 10-7. I don't know. We'll see. But all good records, I think, all good projections. Hopefully we're on Fish Tank's side of it, and because then we're looking at maybe a bye week wild card and just one game away from the AFC Championship, and
a home playoff game. A home playoff game.
Yeah, that's right.
Please, let's do this.
Oh, it'd be so much fun. Does 11-6 win the AFC East? Well, if you're thinking the Buffalo Bills are going to take a drop, maybe. Humidity, everyone, man. Scotty's in the house. Everybody tuning in. Hammer time. Sorry, guys, I didn't see a lot of the comments today because I was focusing on the schedule and our guest, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. Biggie, let me just thank you, brother, for coming on, man. It was so much fun, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this, especially on a weekend. We love to do this on Saturdays. It's different, give people a good start to the weekend, talking Dolphins football, having fun. So I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know how busy you are. And man, I'm excited about February. Get down there. And of course, the plans of what's going to happen. I think you said that we'll start getting more information in August. So very cool, my man. Tell everybody, everybody knows where to find you, but just follow us up where we could find you, my man.
Big E, Ian693 on Twitter. That's where you'll find me. Also, I do podcasts. We're going to be starting to do a weekly. We've been doing it bi-weekly every 3 weeks on the DolphinsTalk.com podcast every Wednesday night. So I'm looking forward to talking about some wins, man. We've all been Dolphins fans. Every one of us has been a Dolphins fan for a long time. And we have dealt with all the seasons that were disappointing. We've lived through Bullygate. We've lived through Ricky Williams' retirement. We've lived through losing to the Buffalo Bills as second-string players when we needed a win to get to the playoffs.
That's enduring, not getting through. That's enduring.
we have endured, and I'll tell you, we're still here today. We're still supporting our team, and we deserve for us to be able to get some good stuff for our team. So I just hope that this is it, and I really feel that the talent that we have right now is the group of guys that can get us there. So we're about to have an extremely fun season, and I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I do, and I thank you guys so much for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Hey, I got my passes today.
Nice. I got mine too. Yes, I got mine a couple days ago. I'm excited. It's going to be so much fun.
I didn't. I just got a piece of paper here, guys. So I appreciate you throwing it in my face, living up here. Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, remember, you used to live in Florida. I live in Florida now.
I know. That's true. You deserve it. You deserve it, Fish Tank.
Hey,
Any
look
final
at all
thoughts?
those years I was over in Oregon supporting and just going crazy. And now I'm finally over here. And, I might have to drive 3 hours, but that's all right. That's all right.
It's still worth it. My wife said when we retire, where we're going to go, because we live in South Florida, we're about 25 minutes away from the stadium. I said, we can go north, but not more north than it takes for me to be able to drive to the stadium, because I'm not giving that up.
So Orlando.
I could do that too. 2.5 hour drive. 2.5 hour drive in the morning on Orlando. I could do that.
Well, there you go, guys. That's Fish Tank Hank. Our special guest, Big E in the house. Again, thank you all for tuning in to the Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network. Like, subscribe, and most importantly, as always, Fins up. We'll see you guys next Saturday.
Fins up.
Fins up.